In our opinion, any time is a good time to be in Disney World, but there are times that things can be a little less magical. So let's take a look at 9 times you really don't want to be in Walt Disney World. Crazy crowds, horrible local traffic, and oppressive heat can definitely rain on your Disney parade. Oh, and speaking of rain, did we mention the hurricanes? Yes, the most magical place on earth is always the best, except when it's totally not. And if you're planning a once-in-a-lifetime vacation and you want it to be the best trip ever, you gotta take these circumstances into account when deciding when you'll be in Disney World. So the first one we want to talk about is when your favorite rides or restaurants are down for refurb. We all have our favorites. The ride we go on every single time we're in Disney World minus Spaceship Earth, because I'm an old school Epcot nerd and it would 100% be Horizons if it could be. Or maybe the restaurant that your family has a tradition of visiting, like you guys always get the kitchen sink at Peaches and Cream on every visit, or you go to Chef Mickey's for your first meal every single time you get to Disney World. You know what I mean? Well, guess what? Sometimes those rides and restaurants go down for refurb for weeks or even months at a time, and that's a huge bummer if you're not aware of it. So like when little Jimmy is finally tall enough to ride Splash Mountain and you've been counting down the days with your paper chain until you can ride Splash Mountain, and Jimmy makes you tell him a story every night about Splash Mountain, and you get to Disney World and Splash Mountain is closed for refurb. Worst vacation ever. And there will be no stopping the tears, my friends. No stopping the tears when tragedy strikes. So before you plan your vacation, be sure to check the refurbishment schedule on Disney World's website. They usually don't release refurb dates too far in advance, so you may find out after everything is booked and settled, but at least you'll know and can plan around it. For example, make Jimmy ride Big Thunder or Space Mountain instead. So coming up on the refurb schedule, Test Track is going to go down for refurb January 13th, 2020 to February 26th, 2020. And Splash Mountain itself, let Jimmy know, is going to go down from January 6th, 2020 to February 27th, 2020. Water rides typically do go under refurb at the beginning of the year. And remember, the water parks also take turns going under refurb during those colder months, the November, December, January, February timeframe. So things like Kali River Rapids, Splash Mountain, those are probably going to be down at the beginning of the year if they do need a refurb. And with the park's 50th anniversary coming up in 2021, there's a good chance a few other attractions are going to be closing temporarily to be spruced up before that big celebration. So if you're traveling to Disney World in 2020, keep your eye on ride closures. We'll be covering all of it at DisneyFoodblog.com, or you can sign up for our newsletter to get the latest news right in your inbox. All right, next time you might not want to be in Disney World: holidays and 3-day weekends. This may be the most obvious entry on our list because holidays in Disney World can be super crowded. If you don't like huge crowds, you'll want to steer clear of the following: Christmas, New Year's Eve and Day, Thanksgiving, 3-day weekends for Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and Columbus Day. And you may want to avoid the parks during spring break as well. This varies for schools around the country and can take place anywhere from February to the end of April, so you never really know how busy each week is going to be. But remember that lots of schools around the country also have a fall break in October that's going to give crowds a boost. Now, if you don't mind the crowds and maybe you get a dose of adrenaline from it, go ahead and brave the parks during those packed time frames. After all, the parks usually open long hours like 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. or later. Disney adds in lots of extras, extra food, extra activities, characters, events, etc. during those holiday busy times. And as long as you're not expecting to hit every single ride or always get your preferred dining options, it can be a fun time to go and just be part of the insanity there. If you do brave the crowds, we recommend choosing a park for the day and staying there. If you try to get into a park during the afternoon on a day like Christmas Day, you may not be able to do so. During Christmas, it is not uncommon for Magic Kingdom to close due to overcapacity, and if this happens, it's going to happen in phases. So get out your paper and pen because I'm going to tell you how the phases work right now when the parks do close to capacity. Phase 1 is those without pre-purchased tickets or single-day single park tickets, and those with cast member passes are going to be turned away during Phase 1 when we're getting close to capacity. Phase 2, if you haven't entered a park yet and you have a multi-park or multi-day ticket and you're not staying on site, you'll be turned away next. Phase 3, only those staying at Disney World hotels, annual pass holders, and those with in-park reservations will be allowed in. And Phase 4, the park and parking lot are then closed to everyone. This has only happened once on April 7th, 2009. Spring break crowds are no joke. And definitely plan those fast passes. Lines are going to be crazy long, even for rides that never have lines. So be prepared to wait and maybe make a table service reservation for lunchtime to give yourself a break from the madness while you're there. If you can only travel during school breaks and holidays, I get it. I feel you. I'm with you. We've got a whole video on how to avoid the crowds. It's got touring and dining tips along with some fun activities outside the park for when things are just too crowded and you guys need a break. All right, next time you maybe don't want to be in Disney World if you want a relaxing vacation. Yeah, Disney's one of those places that makes you need a vacation after the vacation, you know what I'm saying? And while you can relax in Disney World, there's plenty of spas, lounge chairs, inviting pools, getaway type activities. A lot of families figure that if they're spending the cash money to be in Walt Disney World, they should get everything out of it that they can, and I agree. So you can totally make your argument that time is money in Disney World, and you're paying for those park tickets, and the amount of time you spend in the park dictates how much value you're getting out of them. So if you want to enjoy the parks to the fullest, you'll likely walk miles each day. We're talking like 20,000 steps a day if you're hitting those parks nonstop. So if your ideal vacation consists of laying by the pool, going on hikes, sleeping in, Disney World may not be the best sort of trip for you. However, you can do some of these things in Disney World amidst all the hustle and bustle. If you want to stay in a hotel surrounded by nature, choose either the Wilderness Lodge or the cabins or campgrounds at Fort Wilderness Resort. It's beautiful. And if you want a tropical vibe, try the Polynesian Village Resort or the Caribbean Beach Resort. For the best pool at Disney World, look no further than Stormalong Bay at Yacht and Beach Club, and you can find a variety of outdoor activities around Disney World property, like horseback riding at Fort Wilderness and fishing at Port Orleans Resort Riverside. And you can even enjoy a full spa day if you're looking for a bit of relaxation in between your 20,000 step days. But many would argue that if that's what you want out of a vacation, it might cost less to actually go to nature or to a beach or to a spa instead of pay the high cost of the hotels in and around Walt Disney World. So that's for you to decide, but a lot of people would say if you want a truly relaxing vacation, Disney World may not be your best choice. Next time you might want to avoid being at Disney World, hurricane season. Now, this one's a bit of a gamble because peak hurricane season is September, October, which are actually some of the best times to be in Disney World. That hot and humid summer is finally starting to subside a little bit. There's a few weeks where crowds dip considerably, and Food and Wine Festival has begun at Epcot, which is seriously one of the best times to be at Disney World. But the weather can be very unpredictable. Disney World has closed 3 times in the past 4 years due to hurricanes. So if you're traveling to Disney from August through the beginning of November, familiarize yourself with Disney's hurricane policies and be prepared to change your vacation or ride out the storm when you're there. Now, we have a whole video on hurricane season in Disney World, so you go ahead and watch that. It's got lots of details, lots of tips, and lots of specifics about what happens during hurricanes in Disney World. So from mid-May through mid-October is Florida's rainy season, and even without a hurricane coming, you could end up with a very, very wet vacation, which can make for shorter park days if you don't pack the right gear. If you're willing to put up with the risky weather, you'll likely be rewarded with short waits as most people leave the parks after a soaking shower. So pack a poncho and keep moving. It can be awesome to be in Disney World parks when it's raining because, again, those ride waits are shorter and it can actually be a lot of fun to be in there when it's not so hot. And remember, if you're in Disney World during a hurricane situation, they are excellent at taking care of their guests. Hurricanes often weaken when they get to inland as far as Orlando, so chances are you'll be safe riding out the storm in a Disney World hotel. Actually, many locals check into Disney hotels to ride out storms due to their strong construction. So Disney has processes in place to make sure everyone has the necessities they need, as well as brings in fun activities and even characters to the hotels, so the loss of a Disney park day isn't quite so painful to you or the kiddos. And I just want to say here, huge kudos to those cast members who volunteer to work very, very long hours, usually staying overnight at the hotel during storms and hurricane closures to make sure that guests are accommodated. Not all heroes wear capes, y'all, and I love that those cast members volunteer to do that. And they do volunteer. They do actually have to volunteer to do those hours. Okay, the next time you might want to not be in Disney World, marathon days. So Run Disney races occur at various intervals throughout the year, and on the day of the marathons or the half marathons, traffic can be really, really bad on Disney roads. Morning traffic can be backed up for hours due to road closures. I can remember being in a minivan last year, and it basically took us over an hour to get from my hotel to the Magic Kingdom due to road closures and traffic, so plan ahead for really long travel times. If you do happen to be in Disney World during a race weekend and you're not running, be sure to check the race routes in advance so you can see how your day may be affected. If you're taking Disney transportation, you won't have to worry about how to get around, but you should plan for some extra travel time or take some time to sleep in and enjoy breakfast or brunch before you head to the parks. Now here are the upcoming Run Disney dates, just so that you know. Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend is January 8th to the 12th, 2020, and the half marathon takes place on Saturday the 11th. The marathon takes place on the 12th. And the Disney Princess Half Marathon is from February 20th to February 23rd, 2020. The half marathon is on the 23rd. This year's marathon begins at 5 a.m. instead of 5:30, so most runners will be long finished when the masses head to the parks around 10 a.m. But if you're an early riser, be prepared for delays and bigger crowds on the days surrounding race day. All right, the next time you might want to avoid being in the Disney parks, specifically Magic Kingdom, is the day they film the Christmas special in Magic Kingdom. You know, the annual Disney Parks Christmas special that you see on TV is partially filmed in the Magic Kingdom or in different parts of Disney World. And it is filmed in advance so that they can edit it and cut it, etc. Musical performances and other vignettes happen over a few-day span, and hey, you may get picked to be in the audience, or you might just have to deal with lots of areas being blocked off, have giant cranes and booms in your castle photos, and navigate filming equipment and wires in the Magic Kingdom. The parade portion of the special is filmed in Disneyland, so you won't even get a sneak peek of the Christmas parade any longer. During the filming in Magic Kingdom, though, thoroughfares in the park can be closed down for a time, and because they'll have all those extras making up an audience for the filming, things can get a little hectic there around the hub. For a lot of people, this can be an annoying hassle for their Magic Kingdom day, so stay tuned to DFB so you know when it's going to happen. It's usually in the beginning of November. But for some, it's a fun and exciting thing to see happening, and you may catch a glimpse of a Disney Channel star here or there. So for some of you, it may actually be a draw. Note that if it's rainy or the weather is wrong for the shoot, they may head indoors to film at a resort. The next time you may want to avoid being in Disney World when big sports competitions take place. Thanks to the ESPN Wide World of Sports, athletic experiences take place throughout the year in Disney World, and one of the biggest is that Pop Warner Super Bowl and National Dance and Cheer competition, which will take place December 7th through December 14th of this year. During this time, loads of excited kids will descend on Disney World, and I mean descend. You'll find plenty of them in the parks when they have breaks and in the resorts as well. Typically, these groups also rent out blocks of rooms at the All-Star Resort, so you may want to check a calendar of events for things like cheer competitions and sports championships before you book your stay at one of those resorts. Because those cheer girls get up real early to practice those cheers, y'all. And if you happen to be there during one of these competitions, just use any method you can to avoid crowds of excited little ones, like mobile order. Always use mobile order. Crowds likely won't be any worse than during 3-day weekends, but these sporting events can be rather unexpected if you're not in the know when it comes to crowd levels at Disney World. And gaggles of kids who are excited and usually chaperoned by only 1 or 2 adults versus a family where the numbers are more 1-to-1 can definitely get unwieldy if you're trying to get around to your fast passes. Next time you might want to avoid being in Disney World, ride and land openings. If Disney's opening a new big deal ride or land during your vacation, expect a little bit of insanity. For example, if you're in town and Rise of the Resistance, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, or Tron open, my friends, be afraid, okay? Just be prepared. While Galaxy's Edge didn't draw quite the crowds that were expected beyond that opening day, that day did bring a large number of crowds and a little bit of craziness. And we've also seen crazy long wait times for other rides on opening day. Millennium Falcon and Frozen Ever After hit a 5-hour wait. Flight of Passage had 4-hour waits on opening day, not counting the 2 hours you had to wait to actually get into the land itself. Toy Story Land was crazy packed on opening day, 5-hour waits for Slinky Dog Dash. So empirical data shows that those ride openings, especially the big important ones, can mean lots of lines and lots of crowds. While we don't have any more big land openings on the horizon, we do have some big ticket rides coming in those next few years. Plan to either jump into the middle of the crazy or to avoid the park when Guardians of the Galaxy and Tron open. And of course, we got Rise of the Resistance coming up here on December 5th in Disney World. So if you don't care about these attractions, get out of Epcot, get out of Magic Kingdom, and get out of Hollywood Studios on those days. When Galaxy's Edge opened, Magic Kingdom was a complete ghost town and you could ride anything you wanted. So plan ahead to be in the park where the craziness isn't happening. And the last time you want to avoid Disney World on our list is when it's crazy hot and humid. Now, it's no secret that the height of summertime in Walt Disney World is two things, hot and humid. These are the times that I don't leave the hotel without a sweat rag, my friends. When you walk out of the hotel and your sunglasses immediately fog up and you have to open your camera bag so the condensation on your lens can clear up before you have to take pictures, it's like you're swimming through hot lava. It's crazy. And a lot of people who've been there for the first time are kind of shocked at how unbelievably humid it is. And that brings a lot of danger as well. We've seen people faint from dehydration and exhaustion. And even with my personal experience in the parks, I still get that feeling of having pushed myself too far when it comes to the heat every once in a while, and I've got to get inside to air conditioning. July and August typically have the most unbearable heat of the summer months, though September is still smack dab in the middle of that rainy hurricane season and is still very hot. So be prepared for that as well. While going in the middle of the summer wouldn't be our first choice of a time to visit Disney World, we do understand that sometimes the summer is the best time for your family to go. Or maybe you have kids in school, you're a teacher yourself, so summer is the only time to go. So if you do choose to visit Disney World in the summer, we've got a few suggestions. Visit the parks in the morning and the evening and take a break during the heat of the day. Drink plenty of water. Don't forget you can get that free water at counter service locations in the parks. And if after hours events are going on during your visit, maybe forego a park ticket during the day and go to after hours instead at night for a cooler visit with potentially more opportunity for rides and much fewer crowds. And it's worth a mention since we're getting close to winter. Just because it's Florida doesn't mean it doesn't get cold too. Sure, you won't have blizzards at Disney World unless it's a snow blizzard, but temperatures can go into the low 30s in January, even if it was 60 degrees the day before. Florida weather is very unpredictable, so make sure you keep an eye on that forecast, but also check previous year's averages and records if you're traveling in January. Maybe pack a hat and a scarf just in case. I can't tell you how many random Mickey hats and scarves and sweatshirts I have because a cold snap hit and I had to spend unforgivable amounts of money on cold weather gear in the park. Seriously, that stuff is so expensive and it all says Disney, so don't expect to get some sort of like understated scarf or something that you can wear to the office. It will have Mickey Mouse on it, so bring your own, y'all, if you don't want that. You're gonna spend like $50 on a scarf. Those are our times. You may not want to be in Disney World. Like I said, even though all the time in Disney World is a great time to be in Disney World, there are times that are a little bit less magical than others. So hopefully this is helpful to you. And as always, we want to know your experiences in the comments. Have you been to Disney World during some of these specific time frames? Have you been in the middle of a Pop Warner championship? Did you go and realize that your favorite ride was closed? We want to hear what you guys have to say. We love to hear your stories in the comments. Thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.